Hey, welcome back at Ion Agriculture. I'm Britton Rucker. Farmers and ranchers work tirelessly to keep our world fed, but sometimes sleep takes a back seat to the demands of the job. Today, we are diving into the reasons why quality sleep is crucial for those in the ag field and how it impacts safety, production, and overall health. We're joined now with Tawnie Larson with Kansas State University. Tawnie, why is the quality of sleep important for farmers and ranchers, given the physical and mental demands of their daily work?
Well, sleep is important. We hear that all the time. But with good sleep, and I mean quality sleep, not just broken sleep, is we live longer and we have more active lives. And that's important, I would think, to everyone. If farmers and ranchers, they want to continue to do that as long as possible. So when we get enough sleep, it helps us deal with stress as well. So our body resets, it heals when you're sleeping, and it also helps us be in a better mood and have more energy. So adults should get about 7 hours of sleep per night. Not everybody gets that every night, but if that can be a good average throughout a week, that's pretty good sleep. And also, lack of sleep has an effect on a lot of diseases, such as heart disease, diabetes, stroke. So a good reason to get enough sleep.
Yeah, and you mentioned some right there, but what are the risks and challenges that arise in ag when sleep is neglected?
So, as I mentioned, cognitive abilities. And so on the flip side of that is, are you thinking clearly? If you don't get a good night's sleep, I would say check in with yourself. Is it a good day to kind of replan what you are going to do? Maybe not go out and work on a lot of equipment if, your technical skills aren't quite as good that day. We can be more clumsy, which can lead to injury, like slips, trips, falls, just hurting your hands as you're doing some work on equipment and that type of thing. So we just need to really be mindful. And so if we didn't get enough sleep, we might not be as mindful as we usually are. And research also shows that if you pull an all-nighter and you are awake for 21 hours or more, that you're actually intoxicated just as much as, say, a drunk driver would be. So you're not thinking straight, you're not acting right, and that can be very dangerous.
A lot of farmers see that 7 hours of sleep that you were just talking about, and they go, ha. Any tips or strategies farmers and ranchers can use to improve their sleep routines really quick?
I mean, it's getting up and going to sleep at the same time every day will make a huge difference. I know that's not always easy, but that should be a good goal. And just as much as eating well and shutting down the blue light at night, shutting down the televisions, kind of go with the sun, get up with the sun, go to bed with the sun, start shutting down as evening approaches. And also room temperature is shown to make a huge difference. So 60 to 68 degrees sleeping temperature really promotes good restorative sleep.
Well, Tawnie, thanks so much for coming on and chatting with me. Everyone stick around to Ion Ag. We'll be back after the break.